Now we'll start with the session. Hello everyone, greetings of the day. Dear author and invited guests, welcome to Technical Session 7C. Myself Prashi, and this session would be moderated by me. On behalf of Global Knowledge Research Foundation and GR Scholastics LLP, it is my great pleasure to welcome you to the 10th International Congress on Information and Communication Technology ICICT 2025, London, United Kingdom. The 10th edition of the conference is being organized in a hybrid mode. The physical event was held yesterday in London, United Kingdom, and the virtual session is being held through Zoom from 19th till 21st of February 2025. I hope you will enjoy the knowledgeable and interactive session through the day. In this session, we have 6 presentations. Each presenter will be given 12 minutes for the presentations and 3 minutes for the question and answers round. On the 10th minute, I will be raising a gentle reminder. There is another request to all the participants that you will stay connected with us till the closing remarks. If you have any queries or update, then you can write it to me in the chat box. Just before we start the session, I would like to introduce you all to our session chairs for the session. Dr. Muhammad Firoz Mridha. Dr. Muhammad is currently working as an associate professor in the Department of Computer Science at American International University, Bangladesh. He is senior member of the IEEE. His research interests include artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, and natural language processing. His research experience within both academia and industry results in over 120 journals and conference publications. So we welcome you to the session. Would you like to say a few words before we start with our session, sir?
Yes, I am available. I can hear.
Yes, sir. Okay. We welcome you, sir. Now I'll call up the next session chair for the session. Our next session chair is Dr. Nalinikant Joshi. Dr. Joshi is currently the director and professor at Modi Institute of Management and Technology, Kota, India. He has vast experience in academic research and administration of more than 25 years. Sir, we welcome you to the session. Would you like to say a few words before we start with our session, sir?
So, good evening, Prashi,
Good evening, sir.
and all the best to all the presenter. And definitely, I hope our session will be very knowledgeable, and we get very good papers, and we'll exchange a good knowledge.
Definitely, sir. Thank you
Okay.
so much for your words. Now, we would not waste any more time and start with our presenters. First presenter for this session is Nabati Salman, presenting a paper on the title NFS PDLC-based real-time solar radiation controller for photovoltaic systems. If you are available with us, I request you to kindly take over with your presentation, please. Ma'am Naba.
Yes, I am here.
Yes, ma'am. I request you to kindly take over with your presentation. I'll stop sharing.
Yes. Can you see my presentation?
Yes, ma'am. It is visible to us.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Naba Talib from Iraq, University of Basra. My presentation about adaptive neurofuzzy interference system, polymer dispersed liquid crystal-based real-time solar radiation controller for photovoltaic system. Solar energy is an unlimited source of carbon-free energy worldwide. Solar radiation is essential to renewable energy. It is changed during the day between the seasons, and in different geographical locations make control challenging. smart glass used for solar radiation adjustment without the need for shading devices, the transmittance of which can be easily controlled using electrical signal. BDLC regulates solar radiation that is incident on the solar cell surface by changing its transparency because of applied voltage. To simulate BDLC and forecast solar radiation in real time using neurophysics as model. In this paper, we use BDLC with a transparency range from 5 to 83%. Polymer dispersed liquid crystal are significant advancement in liquid crystal technology, are composed of tiny droplet of liquid crystal low molecular weight, which located between two separate transparent conducting electrodes in salt polymer matrix. Feature electrically controlled switching and displaying a milky white scattering state due their irregular orientation as shown in this figure. When voltage is applied to the BDLC, to the transverse conductive electrode, so the symmetric axis of bipolar droplet is parallel to the direction of the electrical field. When power off, the liquid crystal particles are randomly aligned in polymer, resulting in transient state. This image is captured with different transparency due to AC applied voltage of the BDLC in range 0 to 220 volt, where transparency increasing by increasing voltage. Photovoltaic system converts sunlight into electric current. It is formed up of number of parts, such as solar panel that collect and convert solar radiation into electrical power, an inverter that change the output from direct current to alternating current, and the other electrical accessories need to assemble the system. In outdoor experiment, we use pyrometer devices to measure solar radiation in real time, covering with BDLC to range filter radiation at any moment of time. We use AC variac device to supply voltage to the BDLC and data logger to record measurement. Solar radiation is changed over day. This figure represents solar radiation in one day, where it is ranged, and can we range this at any point of this curve. For example, we take 800 watt per meter square and can obtain a wide range of filter radiation from 300 to 600 at the same moment. For BDLC modeling in MATLAB software, neurophysics was trained as model for BDLC smart film based on input-output data captured from real time, where the input of this model is solar radiation and applied voltage. Output is the corresponding filter radiation from BDLC. Data is collected in real time and splitting into two parts for training and testing. The ratio for training is 87% and for testing 13%. Accuracy of training process where error is conversion to zero, as shown in this figure. In MATLAB Simulink environment, we use three solar panel with different power, 3.5 watt, 25 and 100 watt, were simulated in MATLAB with constant load of 7.5 ohm to calculate cells power. Before applying filter radiation that obtained from BDLC, we can measure or calculate PV power at this point 800 watt per meter square and temperature with 46 degree. We can 1.97 watt 11.46, 48.62 watt for each panel respectively. After applied BDLC transparency, BDLC overall shading on transparency OPQ states are 37.7 to 73% respectively, which can control BV generation. For BV1, the variable transparency film was able to control approximately 39.6% of the cell energy, while the in BV2 BDLC control approximate 39.5%. In BV3 control 42% of original energy. BDLC film have a big impact on how much power BV system can produce by efficiently controlling the amount of solar radiation that reaches the BV panel. In general, a BDLC can control amount of solar radiation incident on the... Yes, thank you. Thank you. This is end.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I'll just ask our session chairs, Dr. Mohammed and Dr. Joshi. Sir, do we have any questions for ma'am?
Yes, I have one observation, one question to learn. If the photoelectric cell or the solar panel have any damage, how you can detect this in the system?
Can you repeat a question, please?
If any cell or any panel has the damage or any fault, how the system can detect this and how efficient it can be achieved? If your system can tolerate the fault of the system?
I put BDLC film above BV real time.
No, the system that was detect how it any fault occur when the system can be detected, or what is the process for replacing the system or replacing a panel or like anything similar to this?
Yes, we can use any system, but BV is more sensitive to change of radiation.
It's okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Nava, it was a good presentation. Idea is good enough. My concern is only one thing. You talk about the PDLC and it is a film based. So, have you gone through any parameter about the costing of the PDLC and the life of this PDLC? So the overall system may become cost effective.
Please repeat very clearly. Please, can you
Have you
repeat your
gone?
question?
Yeah. Have you gone through the cost effectiveness of PDLC and the life of the film? Cost effectiveness of the PDLC films and the real implementation from the point of view of the cost and its life, how long it will sustain.
Yes. Yes.
So, what would be the
With
life of the
clear
film?
specification, yes.
So, what is your observation about this?
Yes, about the specification of BDLC, can work outdoor a long time.
Okay. Okay, nice. Thank you. We can have a
Thank
next
you.
presentation, please.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for presenting, Ms. Naba. Now we'll call up the next presenter for the session. Our next
Yes.
presenter is Ping Lu, presenting a paper on the title Automatic Creation of a Visualization with Multi-Agent LLM Approach. If you are available with us, I request you to kindly take over your presentation, please.
Sure. Let me share my screen.
Yes, sir, for sure.
Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, sir, we can see the screen. It is visible to us.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Ping. I'm an assistant professor at Algoma University, Brampton, Canada. Today, I'd like to present our study on the automatic creation of visualizations using a multi-agent LLM framework. So we all know that visualization is critical for exploring and understanding insights in data science. Usually, people can only generate high-quality figures with rich experience in the field. Some earlier studies had tried to use a rule-based system to automatically generate visualizations from natural languages, but these rules are predefined, which lacks flexibility. As language models become more and more popular, many people have used it to assist with data analysis tasks. For example, ChatGPT can help us generate codes for plotting. However, a significant challenge persists. Users still need domain expertise to understand the scripts and to tune the generated plots. This limitation restricts its usage for non-experts who may lack the skills to run the codes and to refine the generated figures.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, sir, but we are unable to see the presentation. Right now, you're showing your calendar to us, wherein we can see the information about the invites.
Sorry, I guess it's because no, it's this one. Sorry, sorry about it. Let me share it. It's how about now? Can you see my presentation?
Yes, sir. Now we can see the presentation.
Now it's okay.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry about this. Yeah, I will continue from this background. Basically, because LLM becomes popular, but it still has some limitations, and people still need domain expertise to generate good quality figures. So, and also, although these existing tools like ChatGPT and Cloud have provided basic visualization capabilities, they often fall short in generating a variety types of complex figures. These tools typically also lack the customization needed for specific domains, leading to some generic plots that may not fully satisfy user requirements. So this gap is this gap in the functionality highlights the necessity for a more complicated approach that can satisfy the diverse needs for users across various fields. So our research aims to bridge this gap by introducing a multi-agent LLM-based platform that can automatically generate high-quality figures. So basically, our research is driven by these three objectives. First, we try to empower users with limited expertise to generate detailed, high-quality figures. Second, we develop this system where multiple large language model agents can work together to decompose, generate, and refine their visualizations. And this collaborative approach is anticipated to enhance the quality of the output. Finally, we will evaluate our system against human benchmarks and demonstrate that this approach can produce comparable results. This figure shows the workflow of our multi-agent framework. The framework has several stages. In the planning phase, The planar agent and the header gadget agent will work together to create a feasible visualization strategy. And this strategy is based on the data characteristics and the intended objectives. After that, in the generation phase, the previous generated plan is sent to the programmer agent, which will convert the plan into executable code. This program agent determines the optimal libraries based on the plan and the rendering requirements. Also, the script is then sent to the computer to generate the plots. Any errors encountered during this process will be sent back to the programmer agent, and it will refine the script until the plot is generated. So once the plot is generated, it will be sent to the image reader agent. This agent will analyze the plot and generate a description for the plot. The description is then sent back to the planner agent, which will which will analyze it and determine if the plot meets the requirements. If yes, the plot will be saved. Otherwise, the plan will be updated and sent back to the programmer agent which will then update the code. This process will be performed repeatedly until the generated plot is satisfactory. To evaluate our system, we also established a scoring rubric that accesses the various aspects of the plots. So this rubric includes like criteria such as the accuracy for the axis and the chart titles, the appropriateness of the visualization tabs, and the selection of the relevant data features. Each criteria is scored on a defined scale, allowing us to quantitatively measure the performance of our system against human benchmarks. To validate our approach, we utilized two datasets: the COVID-19 statistics from the Czech Republic and the Armenian market car price from Kaggle. The first dataset, COVID dataset, provides a temporal view of the daily infection count, recoveries, and testing volumes, presenting challenges in visualizing trends and patterns. In contrast, the Armenian car price dataset has a variety of categorical numerical variables, enabling us to test our system's ability in handling mixed data types. Both datasets has human analysis results online, so we can use them directly to compare with our model's generated plots. So here, these two figures show the results obtained from the COVID dataset. On the right side, our system generates bar charts to highlight categorical comparisons, which provide a clear, direct comparison between the total infect number, total infect recovered, and test cases numbers. On the contrary, the human analyst on the left side used the line plots to emphasize temporal trends and the intersection between metrics. Similarly, for the test tabs, our agent still use bar plots to show the difference between the total test and the total antigen test. And for the human analyst, they use line plots to emphasize the temporal trends. So, I mean, for these data sets, although the human and the agent use different types of plots, both two plots show a clear and direct difference between these categorical variables. So we then validate the framework on the Armenian car price dataset. We test several figures, such as the distribution of the car price, the mileage versus the car price, and the distribution of the car counts and the car ages. So most of these figures generated by our system on the right closely match the ones result from the human analyst on the left, which suggests that our framework can generate satisfactory analysis plots. The only two differences happen on the distribution of the field types and the correlation of variables. On the field type, our framework chooses pie charts, which effectively illustrate the proportional relationships between field types through these angular segmentations, while the human analysts use bar charts to directly compare the number of the different field types. Although our pie charts doesn't show the exact numbers, the inclusion of precise percentages values enhance the quantitative understanding without the compromising the clarity. Another difference happened on the correlation heat map. The human analyst compute the correlation of all the variables in the dataset. For our framework, since we did not specify which features include, the system did not use all the variables. Instead, it calculated the displayed correlation among year, mileage, and price. Actually, from the left side, we can see that the human result indicates car price is primarily influenced by mileage, year, and age. And the year actually just reflects the vehicle's age. Therefore, we believe that although our plots only use 3 features, it successfully captured the key features affecting the sale price, which is most important for this data set. So besides this direct comparison, we also use the rubric to evaluate the framework. Our framework achieved an average score of 6.4 out of 7, indicating that strong and satisfactory performance. So in the future, we plan to apply the framework to domain-specific tasks, for example, bioinformatic analysis, to improve its reasoning and output quality. In the meantime, we will integrate the model with database system, for example, SQL database or graph database to automate the data analysis process. We will also improve the evaluation rubric to better enhance performance comparison. Finally, I would like to thank my colleague Randy Ling and his students for their work on this study. I would also like to thank the support from our Faculty of Computer Science and Technology. That's all about my presentation. I'm happy to answer any question. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I would just like to ask any session chairs, Dr. Mohammed and Dr. Joshi. So, do we have any questions for him?
Thank you, Pinglu, for your nice presentation and nice topics. My one question is, in LLM-based project, there is a huge constraint for the resources. And what is the resource you have used for this type of analysis?
Sure. Thank you for the question. We basically use currently we use the API provided by ChatGPT. I mean, by OpenAI to do this all these analysis. So each agent is just an API from OpenAI. In the future, we actually currently we are trying to use like public models like the DeepSeek or like the Llama 3 to try to make everything like to finalize all the analysis locally.
How you have optimized your analysis for the text?
Sorry, you mean optimize
optimization? Yes.
Oh, actually, because everything is generated by the API, so on our side, we don't require like a very powerful computer or like a tune most of the parameters. We just use the default parameters. Of course, we will like change like the tokens, number of the tokens and those things when using the API. But yeah, that's mainly the parameters we need to tune on our side.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
So your concept is looks good, Alex. I have a bright picture. My concern is number one, when we are talking about the multi-agent element, and you started with the data sets, one from the KNL, from the COVID-19 check. So it is only my question is that whether for such a problem which you have started, we require more different kind of data set approaches to arrive for a particular specific visualization, or the data set we have used is sufficient.
Thank you. Sorry, I might. So your question is, we only use one data set, and we need to use more data set to evaluate the the
Yes.
platform? Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah. So we try to like find like data sets online that also has human analytics reports, so that we don't have to generate those reports by ourselves, and we can direct do the comparison. And so these two data sets are, yes, that I mean we also collect many data sets, and because this is a preliminary study, so we just at the beginning we want to figure out if the model works. I mean, they can actually generate the plots. We will definitely test more data sets and also more complicated tasks to in the future to make sure that the framework can work for real everyday tasks. Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now we'll go on to our next presenter for the session. Our next presenter for this session is Nelly Galora, presenting the paper on the title Gamification and English for Specific Purpose Learning, Integrate Duolingo as an Innovative Tool for B1 Plus students. If you are available with us, I request you to kindly take over with the presentation, please.
Yes, in a moment, I'm just trying to share the screen, please. ¿De dónde? De acá. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, the screen is visible to us.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure for me to be here at this International Congress. My name is Nelly Galora, and together with my colleague Javier Sanchez, we will be presenting our research on gamification and English for specific purposes learning, integrating Duolingo as an innovative tool for B1 plus students. Okay. In today's presentation, we will cover several key points. We will begin with an introduction to the ESP and the significance of gamification. Then we will discuss the theoretical background, our methodology, key benefits, and challenges. Finally, we will conclude with our recommendations for future research before opening the floor to your questions. Let's start with the problem we identify. First, let me give you a little context about our university. My university is a public university in South America, Ecuador, and I work in the language center. We offer two programs. We offer English, two regular courses and open courses. When I say regular courses, I mean students from different careers, from medicine, from administration, from different careers in our university. And when I say open courses, is for public, so students from high school, for example. And we have identified the problem that regular students from career, many of them struggle with applying English in real life situations. Even though they have taken 3 English levels, A1, A2, and B1, but they are not able to communicate. They cannot use English in particular in professional settings when they just leave the university. Despite having some knowledge, they face difficulties in communication. Our proposed solution is the implementation of an ESP course that integrates a specialized or specific vocabulary and real-world communication strategies. The goal is to help students to develop their English skill with their specific disciplines and enhance their professional areas. Through this study, we aim to improve a student's ability to communicate effectively in workplace and related tasks. By introducing a functional, file-specific language approach, we expect an increase in both their confidence and their competence in using English. Our objectives were clear: develop communicative skill tailored to professional scenarios, and prepare students for their careers with practical language applications. Now, let's take a moment to define ESP. Unlike general English courses, ESP focuses on language use with specific fields, such as medicine, law, business, etc. This specialization helps students acquire professional vocabulary and engage in real-world applications. For university students, this is a crucial aspect for global competitiveness, as mastering English in their professional domains, opening doors to international opportunities. Now, why gamification? Gamification is an increasingly popular approach in education nowadays because it incorporates game-like elements such as points, rewards, and challenges to make learning more engaging and interactive. In this study, we use Duolingo as a well-known gamified language learning platform with its interactive exercises, personalized challenges, and progress tracking. Duolingo proved to be an excellent tool for increasing motivation and improving specialized or specific vocabulary retention. Our approach follows a mixed method research design, incorporating both qualitative and quantitative techniques. The goal was to evaluate how implementing an ESP course with Duolingo could enhance learning outcomes for B1 plus students at the Technical University of Ambato. Our research was, talking about methodology, our research was structured as a descriptive exploratory study and including the following steps. First, we start selecting sample of 17 B1 students from different faculties. Then we validate our questionnaire and conduct our pre-test to assess initial vocabulary knowledge about the specific field. And then we implemented a pilot ESP course with Duolingo. And then we had the post-test to measure the improvement after the implementation. Later, we analyzed the data using the SPSS software, and the data collection was done through the survey administration via Microsoft Forms. Now let's talk about the key findings. The pre-test results indicate that students had limited knowledge of ESP vocabulary, with an average score of 9.7 out of 15. After 4 weeks of ESP interaction or implementation using Duolingo gamified activities, the post-test show a significant improvement with an average score of 13.1 out of 15. The t-test result confirm statistical significance with an p-value of less than 0.01, indicating a strong positive impact of Duolingo's gamification approach. Now let's look at both the benefits and challenges of this approach. On the positive side, gamification increases students' engagement and motivation. It also enhanced vocabulary retention and promoted autonomous learning. However, there were some challenges. For instance, students needed internet access to use Duolingo, and the platform may not fully replace traditional classroom learning. Additionally, some students still prefer conventional teaching methods over gamified learning. In conclusion, this study demonstrated that Duolingo effectively improves students' linguistic competence, particularly in vocabulary mastery and professional application. It provided a personalized and motivating learning experience, bridging the gap between academic learning and real-world professional needs. Moreover, this approach serves as a replicable education model that can be implemented in other universities to enhance ESP learning. Moving forward, we recommend expanding this study to include a larger and more diverse students population. Comparing Duolingo effectiveness with other gamified platform or traditional teaching methods. Investigating gamification impact on specific language skills like writing and speaking, and exploring ESP gamification across different professional fields to identify disciplines' specific benefits. That is all, and thank you for your attention. If you have any question, you can ask me.
Thank you so much for presenting, ma'am. I'd ask our session chair, Dr. Muhammad or Dr. Joshi, sir, do we have any questions for ma'am? Okay.
I have one question.
Yes, sir.
So, I have one concern about this Duolingo that you are using, and that is a vocabulary retention, right?
I'm so sorry, I cannot listen to you. I don't know. It is your internet that I cannot listen.
My concern is vocabulary retention. Vocabulary retention.
Oh, you're talking about, your question is about retention?
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
the results showing the pre-test result, then you use the Duolingo, then we have a post-test data that has shown the increase in the
Well, I try to understand you. The question goes with using Duolingo helps students vocabulary retention. Yes, we have chosen this tool because, as you know, when you are learning a specific language vocabulary, so we need a lot of practice. So this platform helps students to retain, to practice the vocabulary.
Course. So you got the right thing, but I'm indicating that is the practice. So how you will going to incorporate the practice part?
If it is not a problem, I would rather that you write on the chat because I'm honest, I cannot really understand the question. I mean, is low volume, so I cannot hear you.
My question is how you are going to incorporate.
If it is possible, you can type. If is it possible, okay, you can type the question. You will incorporate practice part in Duolingo. How you will incorporate okay, so we for example, we have the module on a specific area, for example, for medicine, and we have a list of glossary about specific words and phrases that learners from medicine need to know and use in their field. So we incorporate this list of words in this platform, Duolingo. So we practice real language through this platform. Thank you. Thank you for your question. And thank you everyone for listening.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, sir. Now we'll call upon our next presenter. Just Our next presenter is Rim M. Zimam, presenting the paper on title Leveraging Transfer Learning and CNNs for Classification of Breast Cancer via Ultrasound Images. If you are available with us, I request you to kindly take over with your presentation, please.
Hello, everyone. Yes, I'm available. Can you allow me to share my screen, please?
Yes, please. You can share it now, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm very honored to represent my work. My name is Reem Zimam from Yemen, and today I'll be presenting my work in leveraging transfer learning in convolutional neural networks for the classification of breast cancer using ultrasound images. Here's the presentation's agenda. These sections will be covered. Presentation will take about 12 minutes and 3 minutes will be for any questions. We'll start off with a brief introduction to the topic, and I'll start with the question of what is breast cancer. So breast cancer is a very complicated disease that develops when abnormal cells multiply uncontrollably, creating a mass or a lump. These formed tumors can potentially spread to other organs if not treated on time. Breast cancer is a prevalent form of cancer that affects a lot of women worldwide. Moving on to the challenges in traditional breast cancer diagnosis. The first challenge is the false positive results, meaning that those imaging modalities can mistakenly identify a healthy condition as a disease condition. The other challenge is some people have small and dense breast tissue. Sorry, the PowerPoint is. So these people have an issue that regular imaging modalities cannot detect or classify breast cancer. Limited access to healthcare, for example, countryside and rural areas. Number 4 is the misinterpretations by radiologists. And the last challenge is the diagnosis delay due to the lack of awareness and financial constraints. So, what is the role of deep learning in improving diagnosis? The first one is diagnosis accuracy and speedy results, because usually it takes a lot of time. Number 2, the process is just too long and cancer patients are very time sensitive. So automation is necessary. Number 3 is the capability of artificial intelligence and deep learning to handle and analyze big data. Here is a demonstration of what a normal cell and a cancerous cell might look like. And those are the imaging modalities used nowadays. We have the physical exam, breast ultrasound, MRIs, breast biopsy, and staging. And the motivation behind this research can be summarized in 2 points. Early detection increases survival rates. Accurate diagnosis can definitely spare patients from unnecessary treatment and expenses. Okay, so what is the problem here? The problem definition is that, as we all know, all medical diagnosis and decisions rely heavily and directly for the report that is coming from the radiology department, meaning that those reports should be accurate at least 100%. The other problem is that radiologists have a miss rate of a 60 to 80%, which is a quite high number. And due to the fact that those images are very complicated and hard to interpret, mistakes are common and results are delayed. So the coming section will be a tabular form comparison of the proposed model and the previous work done in the field. So the first column has the references. Second column shows what methods were utilized. Third column shows whether augmentation techniques were applied or not. Fourth column is showing the data sets used. And finally, the results. And as we can all notice, our proposed method attained superior accuracy of a 99.7%. Methodology. The research design is a quantitative applied study that compares 5 deep learning architectures. We used the BUSSY dataset. BUSSY stands for Breast Cancer Ultrasound Images. It's a benchmark dataset that have been extensively utilized, and it contains high quality ultrasound images. The models compared were convolutional neural network, the DennisNet 169, the ResNet 152, Exception, and MobileNet version 2. Here is a picture, a sample from the dataset that was used, showcasing benign and malignant tumors in the breast. And now we're going to talk about the proposed model. So here's the model framework. As a first step, the data was collected and pre-processed, and we'll talk about that in the coming slide. The model was developed, trained on the BUSSY dataset, validated as well, and finally optimized. The data pre-processing pipeline is as follows. The very first step was loading the data from the BUSSY dataset. We had to do a few techniques on the dataset to make sure it is suitable for the classification of breast cancer. So the data was resized. We converted some of the grayscale images into the RGB channels. Data augmentation methods were applied, like cropping, flipping, and zooming in. Normalization was also applied. We split data. 80% of the data was for the training purposes, 10% was for testing, and the other 10% was for validating. We also had to shuffle the data to make sure that the model is generalized and it's not just memorizing the data. We also had to batch the data into 120 image per batch, and then we input the images into the CNN. Here's the architecture of the work. So we have an input layer, some hidden layers in the middle, and finally the final layers. So the first layer is the input layer coming from the BUSSY dataset, and then we have a bunch of convolutional layers, also with the ReLU activation function, and this is known as the feature extraction phase. And the other phase had the fully connected layer that actually does the classification process. And the final and output layer, this layer is considered to be the most critical layer. And we used the activation function of softmax to do the probabilistic distribution and categorizing the data coming through the network and classifying it into the accurate class of either benign or malignant. And for the other proposed models, this is the framework that was done. So we also used the BUSSY dataset to train them and also to test them. Data augmentation methods were applied, and we had to fine-tune them to make sure that they suit the problem of classification. Because if you can all notice, these 4 deep learning architectures are transfer learners. That means that they have been previously trained on different data sets, for example, ImageNet. So we had to make sure that it's suitable for the problem. And for the final, before the final step, we trained on the same data set for 15 iterations. And we used standard performance metrics to assess our model, which we will see in the coming slide. Here are the parameter configurations. So the learning rate was set into 0.001. The batch size was 120. Number of epochs was 15. Activation function was softmax. And the optimizer utilized was the Atom optimizer. For the results, here is a tabular form of the results that we attained from each and every model that we used and compared, and we found out that the DennisNet attained higher accuracy than other models in the field, even though we did the same exact step on each and every one, and DennisNet showed to be having superior accuracy. For the conclusion, the primary objective was comparing 5 different deep learning models for the problem of breast cancer classification. We used the BUSSY dataset, and the result indicate that DennisNet performed better. For the future work, we'd recommend 2 main things. The first one is the integration of multimodal data, meaning that there is a need of a model that can deal with any data type. And the second most important recommendation would be the use of explainable AI. That's because we all know that CNNs are considered as black boxes. They do give us accurate results, but we never know why the model took such a decision. So explainable AI is very recommended, that it can at least give us a transparent reason for why did the model take such a decision, which can make people in the healthcare sector trust it even more. Those are the references used, and I am glad to ask any question. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Do we have any questions from our session chair?
Your proposed model looks good. And of course, such kind of model is purely based on the data set.
Yes,
In one of your slides, you have written the learning rate is 0.0011.
correct. Yes, that's correct.
Can you explain this?
Yes, of course. So during our experimental trials, we tried using different learning rates, but we noticed that the more we decrease the learning rate, the more the model predictions and outcomes are being more enhanced. So that's the reason we lowered the learning rate into a 0.001.
Okay, good.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor.
Do we have any other questions?
No, it's a nice work. So I have no question, no observation.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for presenting your presentation. Now we'll head on to the next presenter of the session. I would like to call upon our next presenter, Eduardo Pinas Verelt, presenting a paper on the title Prolonged Sitting and Its Risks, Analysis of Pathologies and Technological Solutions. If you are available with us, I request you to kindly take over with your presentation, please.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much for the presentation, for introducing. So in this moment, I will share my screen. Give me a second, please. Uh, please let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, sir. Your screen is visible. You can see the presentation.
Well, it works. Thank you so much for introducing. I am Eduardo Pinos Vélez. I am from Ecuador. Like I saw well, it's not my friend, but he's of my country, Ecuador too. From Ambato. I'm from Cuenca. It's a south of Ecuador. Okay. It's a pleasure for me to be here. I am talking about my paper. Is the prolonged sitting and its risk analysis of pathologies and technological solution. Um, my 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 friends are Adriana Martinez and Denny Baez. We are working in the GB, is a research group for bioethics on research in the University, en la Universidad Politécnica Salesiana en el Ecuador, in Ecuador. So, program setting is a significant health concern linked to various physical ailments. Extended periodicity and seat position can contribute to serious conditions such as pressure ulcers, lower back pain, and circulatory issues. The importance of developing technologies to mitigate this risk is very critical for us. In this presentation, we will explore the causes, risk, and innovate solution designed to prevent health problems associated with program setting. Some pathologies associated with this program setting is the most common condition include pressure ulcers, localized skin and the tissue damage due to sustained pressure, often seen with child ulcers of breathing patients. Lower back pain caused by improper posture and prolonged spinal flexion, leading to biomedical stress. Circulatory issues, decreased flow, increased risk of swelling, varicose veins, and deep vein thrombosis, and metabolic and cardiovascular risk. Sitting for long hours has been linked to the obesity, diabetes, and the increased risk of cardiovascular disease. What is pressure ulcer? Pressure ulcer, also called bed ulcers, are severe injuries caused by sustained pressure of specific body areas. The progress throughout four stages, from mild skin redness to deep wounds, exposing muscle and bone. And prevention strategies include regular expositing to redistribute pressure, specialized caution, and methods designed to relieve pressure points. Lower back pain is caused by poor posture and prolonged spinal flexion, leads to disc compression and muscular strain, and prevention regular standing breaks, ergonomic and sittings. And circulatory issues, reduce muscular contraction needed for broad circulation, increase risk of decluts, and varicose veins. Prevention is a postural change in movement, some movement, and the metabolic and cardiovascular risk. Sedentary lifestyle leads to obesity, diabetes, heart disease, reduced insulin sensitivity, increased inflammation, and prevention is frequent movement and do exercise. At-risk population principalmente is office workers, older adults or elderly persons, drivers, and people with limited mobility. The risk assessment methods, Norton scale, breathing scale, weather load scaling, and mean scale. So the monitoring technology helps track pressure, distributing and preventing injuries. Pressure sensors are commonly used to detect areas of excessive pressure. Some types of the sensor include resistive sensors, capacitive sensor, and piezoelectric sensors. This technology enables real-time monitoring and early intervention to reduce the risk of pressure ulcers. Innovative seating solutions are designed to prevent pressure ulcer and improve posture. Smart seats equipped with pressure sensors analyze real-time pressure distribution and provide feedback. Automated caution use adaptive technology to redistribute the pressure dynamically, reducing prolonged stress of specific areas. Some prototypes integrate AI and machine learning algorithms to personalize pressure relief strategies based on user behavior and needs. These technologies aim to enhance comfort, reduce the risk of complication, and support individuals with prolonged sitting requirements. Some strategies implementing frequent postural adjustments to prevent muscular fatigue and pressure build pot, designing ergonomic workspace with adjustable chairs and desks to promote healthy posture, using artificial AI based system to monitor and correct improper sitting position in real time, and encourage regular movement breaks and workplace stretching exercises to enhance circulation and reduce stiffness. So this is our proposed our work. We are all time monitoring the generation. We have some transmission of information. So we have a sensor mat. It is our that source. This is the stage of control. Some sensor for the pressure. Drivers from motors. Some actuators. Finally, we have a device. This is a mat, like um, we can this in the chair. So we are testing and monitoring all the time some point and pressure of the person. So automatically we are change the position for free pressure. Sorry. The iteration by on the IoT technology to enable real-time posture monitoring and automatic corrective feedback. Development biomechanical interventions such as smart exoskeletons and dynamically adjustable seating solution, advancing in wearable posture trackers that provide continuous assessment and alerts to encourage better sitting habits. For this stage, we are working with the smartphone. We can send some message, maybe a message text or WhatsApp too. Implementation from machine learning algorithms for personalized ergonomic recommendation and adaptive seating environments, and long-term studies to evaluate to health impact the prolonged sitting and the effectiveness of various intervention strategies. Right now, in this project, we are working with specialists in this area. I am engineer. My group is engineers, student of engineering. But in this moment, we are working with some people that working in specialists in rehabilitation. They can feedback for us in this area, some exercise, some monitoring times for the person with our seat or working in the office or something like that. The conclusion. In the conclusion, prolonged sitting poses several health risks. Advanced monitoring and intervention can prevent complications, and future innovation will improve comfort and health. This is our working, so thank you so much for your attention. If you have any question, please let me know. Thank you.
Do we have any questions, our session chairs? Okay.
A question from my side.
Okay, sir.
So, your study about prolonged sitting is good enough and use of sensors, and then the solution, what do your model suggest is good. But my question is, all those uses of sensor um, and the solution would be useful for all kind of uh, persons, irrespective of their different medical problems and history, because providing a single solution may not work. You may or have to consider some different parameters of different personality, different medical or the body structure.
Okay, thank you so much for your question. Uh, First place, this is a first prototype we are working right now. We are testing this prototype in our students in the university, because in first place we need to some I can't remember the traduction for consentimiento informado. Maybe Javier or Nelly, can you help me? Consentimiento informado for this stage in first place.
Oh, you can say a student's permission for
Something like that.
for having their
Data.
information. Yeah, data. Yes. So we need to
Data.
ask them some permission. That is
Yeah.
permiso. Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much, Nelly. Yes, something like that. We are some permission from the students in first place. This project, we have some stage, for example, for persons in the office. All the time we are is working in the office seat, but we have no good modes working. We are seated from the computer, but our position is not good. The drivers, for example, in taxis or autobus, the persons, we can testing the position without the seat a long time for the travel, no? Maybe can about the person can with he is sleeping and friend in the drive. And finally, most important for me is working with personnel with low mobility or person with a sitting in wheelchair, for example. They can move and some produce some scares, scaras, ulcers, or something like that. So this is a first prototype we are working in this area. Um, right now we have a support from specialists in rehabilitation and physiotherapy, something like that. Their feedback for us is very important for this work. Maybe I hope to answer your question, Professor.
Correct, correct, correct. So your basic model and basic approach is in the right direction. Definitely,
Yeah,
you rightly told that you require to consider the different professions and
yeah.
also different people. Correct, correct. So you rightly understood and given the right answer. Thank you. Good enough.
Thank you. For the moment, it's in one position we are seated, but in the next step we are working in the back, in the back, we are when we are seated, we are working. It's a lot of work for us right now. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much, sir, for your presentation. Now I would like to call upon the last presenter of our session. Our last presenter is Desmond Kwajo-Kyumi, presenting a paper on the title Understanding Cryptocurrency Usage Behavior Among Gen Z in a Developing Economy, a Utility Theory Perspective. Sir, if you are available with us, I request you to kindly take over with your presentation, please.
Thank you very much. So I'm right here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, we can see the presentation.
Okay, can you see my screen, please?
Yes, sir, we can see the presentation and your screen.
Okay, once again, I'm Desmond Kumi, and my co-author is Shinalovia Boatin. Our topic is Understanding Cryptocurrency Use Behavior Among Gen Z in a Developing Economy. I'm a PhD candidate, University of Ghana, and my supervisor, I want to acknowledge him, is Professor Richard Boatin. My department is Department of Operations and Management Information Systems. So this is the outline. Now, a cryptocurrency is a digital or virtual currency that is meant to be a medium of exchange. So it behaves just like the normal conventional money we have. But unlike the other kind of digital currency we have, these cryptos work on a blockchain. They are on blockchain platforms, and blockchains are secure, decentralized ledger that are capable of recording serial peer-to-peer transactions without needing third-party intermediaries. So the most famous blockchain crypto platforms are Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether, XRP, and Solana by market capitalization. Now, what is this research program about? Now, most studies on blockchain concentrate on the technological features and then the practical applications, but there's less emphasis on the drivers or the motivation behind their usage, especially among Gen Z, a very tech-savvy generation, and more so in developing economies like Ghana here. Now, Ghana was among the top 10 adopters of cryptos. These are according to China Analysis 2021, in Sub-Saharan Africa, by the way. And it was then ranked 17 globally. It's still within the top 10 in Sub-Saharan Africa and top 50 globally. However, we do not have any study that kind of measures the level of awareness and what really motivates them, the drivers. And also with regards to the utility theory dimensions, not many studies have used the utility theory dimensions to examine use behavior. Hassan et al. Use it to examine intention to adopt, but not really about the use behavior. So these are some of the gaps we identify for this study. Now, the research purpose is to understand cryptocurrency usage among Gen Z. And the first research question is, what is the level of awareness of cryptocurrencies? The second one is, what are the main factors that drive the usage? So this is our theoretical framework, which we made as a conceptual framework. We are, in this framework here, we are picking these three constructs: perceived benefit of cryptocurrency, perceived risk of cryptocurrency, and then perceived value. These three main constructs are what we are picking from the utility theory. And then our review of literature tells us that it's possible that the perceived risk could interact with perceived benefits. So here we have a hypothesis that talks about the interaction between perceived benefit and perceived risk. And that we expect that that interaction will have a negative effect on the perceived value. And then also, we are taking a construct from innovation diffusion theory, which is personal innovativeness. Because you see, when you study Gen Z, they are more tech savvy. So we want to see whether those that are more innovative, is it likely to have any effects on utility theory trying to explain the cryptocurrency use behavior. So here we are hypothesizing that, first of all, there could be an interaction, a positive interaction between personal innovativeness and cryptocurrency, benefits of cryptocurrency, and then the perceived value of cryptocurrency. And also, it's also possible that it may interact the relationship involving the perceived risk, and it could also interact the interaction. So the hypothesis 8A is about a three-way interaction. And we also want to observe if the perceived value of cryptocurrency could mediate the effect of benefits on cryptocurrency use, among others. So this was the main thing that we used to get the drivers. Now, our study was a survey, and then we did this survey mainly among Gen Z. This study took place 2022. It was part of a whole semester coursework for myself. And then we used purposive and snowball sampling to pick up students from 6 universities in Ghana, University of Ghana being one of them where I am now. Now, overall, we sampled 700 participants, and then we found out that 657 of the questionnaires were usable because some of them was incompletely filled, some also there were careless responses and a whole lot of this. So after taking them out, we had about 94%. Our analysis involved SPSS, AMOS, and then process macro. So these were some of the skills. I showed you earlier the theoretical framework. So these were the questions we asked under the various constructs there. In particular, actual use, we try to see whether they invest in cryptos, whether they trade in cryptos, and the frequency thereof. Now, in terms of the results, the background information, about 60%, that's 3 in 5 of the participants were males, and then about 40% were females. They were all university students, so these were mainly diploma and degree students who dominated the sample, and postgraduates. And then also, in order to reduce bias in our sample selection, we try to look out for those who had very high IT knowledge. Like some of them all were students, but some also doubled as IT professionals because they were students and they were working. Some were just IT enthusiasts, which were the majority. And then there was a group that were neither IT enthusiasts or professional. These are other demographic background because of time. Now, for the first research question regarding the awareness among Gen Z, we noticed that 50% of the participants indicated that they were aware of blockchain technology. About 84% of them indicated they were aware of cryptocurrency, and then 92% indicated that they were aware of Bitcoin. I mean, Bitcoin is a type of crypto. So it means that some may have heard of Bitcoin, they were aware of, but they don't know that it's an aspect of crypto. And then most of them probably even don't know that cryptos are built on the blockchain technology. Now, this is a breakdown of the awareness of blockchain, crypto, and Bitcoin regarding the gender, education, and ICT capacity. But just concentrating on the gender aspect, you will notice that there's a big gap. The males were more aware than the females. And then same for crypto and same for Bitcoin, but the gap is wider for blockchain. So now in terms of trust, because you need a lot of trust to utilize cryptos, we noticed that about a third of them, 35% of them indicated that they had absolute trust in cryptocurrency. And this trust percentage is higher among males than females. So the females are a lot more cautious. Now, in terms of the risk, whether they perceive cryptos as risky, over here, it is risky, it is very risky, it's extremely risky. These three categories contribute about 40%. And then for the last bar, the tallest of them all, these are people who may not have used, but they have heard that it is risky. So we could say that about 74% of them believe that it is risky to invest in cryptocurrencies. Now, in terms of ownership, whether they own crypto asset at the time of the survey, a third of them own crypto asset. And once again, the male percentage was higher. So now, coming back to the conceptual model, we performed a confirmatory factor analysis in AMOS and tested the constructs to make sure that they pass validity. So the Cronbach alphas were all above 0.7, the composite reliability were above 0.7, the AVs, which is average variance extracted, were above 0.5, indicating that the convergent validity was met. That is, the constructs measure what they are intended to measure. And in terms of the uniqueness of these 5 constructs, discriminant validity, when we use the HTMT, heterotrait monotrait ratio, all of them were below 0.85, which is the most conservative threshold. Now, usually when you conduct a survey and you are using only one data instrument, a possible problem that will arise is method bias. So what we did was that we did a statistical test for method bias, and we noticed that there was no problem with method bias because method only had a poor model fit. However, the trait and method, this is the Coate and Barkley method to assess. So in short, this results here down there shows that there was no method bias. Now, in terms of the results of the hypothesis test, now indeed, for our hypothesis 1, we noticed that perceived benefit of cryptocurrency had a significant positive effect on the perceived value of cryptocurrency. And then also perceived value of cryptocurrency mediated the link between perceived benefit and the actual use of cryptocurrency. However, perceived risk, even though, yes, they consider it as risky, perceived risk in isolation did not have significant effect. That's why we denoted it with dotted line here. The effect was not statistically significant.
Time.
Apologies. Hello?
Yes, sir. We request you to kindly conclude as soon as possible. You have crossed the 10-minute mark. So.
Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, so in short, the personal innovativeness had a moderating effect on the link as well. So in terms of the implication, we noticed gender gaps. And this is something that we want policymakers to tailor initiative to address. And also there should be promotion of blockchain more, not just cryptos. And then of course, for practitioners, they can leverage on personality traits like innovativeness and then also the perceived value to get cryptos across. Policymakers can also establish regulatory frameworks to protect users while promoting innovation. Now, for future direction, we recommend that cultural attitude in future studies should also be taken care of. And then also, we also recommend expanding the scope of this study to cover other age generation and also other countries. And then also social media, in terms of social influence, peer influence, future study can look at the effects on the youth behavior. These are our references. Thank you. Hello.
Thank you so much, sir. I'll just ask our session chairs, do we have any questions for sir? Professor Joshi or Professor Mohammed? Sir, do we have any questions?
No, thank you for the nice presentation. And to just, can you explain the key challenge of this cryptography in your project?
Yeah, we were looking mainly at the adoption and use. And then the main challenge that we noticed was, well, people want to use it, but it's risky. You see, at the country level, the Bank of Ghana is piloting what we call ECD, which is a central bank digital currency, which sometimes gives people the hope that, okay, maybe you could have, but however, the same central bank that is trying to pilot this ECD will then come and tell you that cryptocurrencies are not regulated. So you do it at your own risk. So one of the major challenge is the perception of risk. And sometimes some of the users are scammed. So that is a big challenge for most people.
Do you have any implementation in real life for it?
Do you mean implementation?
Yes, real life implementation for your data.
No, this is basically a social survey where we want to understand where we are before we delve into a much deeper aspect of it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. With this, we come to the closing of our session. I sincerely thank our authors for their excellent presentations and contribution in this session, and all our participants for being a part of this international conference. I hope this session was informative enough. We, on behalf of the whole team, thank you for your support during this 10th version and all the other previous 9 versions of this conference. We'll be happy to have you in the 11th version in 2026. All the presenters would be getting their digital certificate through email within the 2 working days. Further, all the papers have been already forwarded to the Springer. The publication will be live within 6 months, so kindly cooperate with the team of ICICT 2025. I would also like to thank our session chairs, Dr. Muhammad and Dr. Joshi. I would like to display a token of appreciation on behalf of ICICT, your certifications as a token of appreciation from our end, sir. This is for Professor Muhammad
Thank
and for
you.
Professor Joshi. Thank you so much for chairing our session, sir. Would you like to give your closing remarks for the session for the presenters today?
Sure. So first of all, thank you to Prashi for conducting entire session in a very good way, in a smooth way. And all in all the papers are presented in a good way. All the presenters have done a good work on their research work. Topics are good enough, especially if I mention one is the automatic creation of visualization with the multi-agent LLM approach, because this is one of the major thrust area which is coming in the near future. So the more work would be done in this. And second part is, of course, a practical problems that is a prolonged setting and its risk. So especially I appreciate these two papers because of one is the practical problems facing all over the world, and second is the multi-agent LLM approach is very required topic. More work needs to be done in this for multiple approach and multiple people require to solve this problem. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Any closing remarks from Dr. Muhammad?
Thank you. And thank you all the presenter organizer for inviting me. And this is a very nice session. And there is a lot of new researcher and PhD student. And I hope all the success of the organizer and for the researcher also. Thank you.
And
Thank you so much, sir.
thanks to the Amit Joshi for giving opportunity to be part of this wonderful congress.
Thank you so much, sir, on behalf of our team. Now we would just like all of you all to please switch on your cameras so that we could have a quick snapshot of this virtual session we just attended. I request all to please switch on to their cameras for a quick snapshot. Thank you so much. You all can log out now. Thank you for being here at the session today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.